All right, guys, so we started talking about magnets. Something that goes along with magnets is gravity. So we're going to kind of read about gravity today, and then tomorrow we're going to read more about magnets, okay? So just kind of pay attention, follow along. I will ask you some questions at the end of the video. So imagine that you had two superpowers. Both powers allow you to move things, without touching them. You can even move things located on the other side of a wall. That'd be cool. One power is the ability to pull anything toward you without touching it. This force acts on objects near or far, but it pulls harder on close objects. The other power allows you to pull and push objects. However, this force acts only on things made of certain metals, like iron. Do these powers seem familiar? If so, it's because you have seen both forces in action. You can feel one of them right now. Do you know what these forces are? Think about that. One of them is happening right now as you're sitting down or standing up or however you're watching the video. What is gravity? So I want you to think about that. What is gravity? Do you know what gravity is? So kind of think about that for a few minutes. Okay, so let's find out what is gravity. You're probably sitting in a chair as you read this. What keeps you there? Why don't you float away into space? The answer is the force of gravity. This is one of the superpowers mentioned above. Gravity is the force that pulls every object toward every other object. That means we all have our own gravity. However, the force of attraction is very weak unless one of the objects is very large. Because Earth is very large, you can feel it pulling on you. This pull is called your weight. You can't feel the pull between yourself and smaller things like other people because the force is too weak. Gravity is always a pull, never a push. So think about that. Gravity is always a pull because it's pulling you down, never a push. So it's not pushing you anywhere, it's pulling you down. Instead of saying Earth is large, we should say it has a lot of mass. Mass is the stuff that makes up all things in the universe. The more mass an object has, the harder it is to move. Gravity is the attraction between any two masses. The force of gravity is stronger when the masses are greater. If you move faster away, the force gets weaker. Scientists understand enough about gravity to predict how it will affect different objects. But why do you think the force exists? Scientists have different theories about this. So gravity is both familiar and strange and amazing. Let's look at this picture right here. So no matter where they're standing, it's pulling them towards the center of it's pulling them towards the ground. Why don't people float away into space? The force of gravity pulls them towards the Earth's center. It's pulling you towards the Earth's center. Career Corner, designing bridges. Picture a large bridge with many cars on it. Imagine how much the car and the bridge must weigh. We know that weight is the force of gravity pulling on mass. The cars and the bridge have a lot of mass. How do we know the bridge is strong enough to support all that weight? So gravity pulls down hard on the bridge. That is the job of an engineer. There are many kinds of engineers. Some design and build bridges. They must identify all the forces acting on a bridge. They need to choose materials strong enough to resist those forces. They must put together the materials in the best way. Otherwise, the bridge may collapse. If you live by the ocean, you know its level changes every day. Guys, we don't live by an ocean, but we live by the Gulf. The ocean goes up and down because it is sloshing back and forth on Earth like water in a bathtub. This means some force must be pulling on the water in the ocean. It makes it move. What is that force? Where does the force come from? Remember that Earth has a lot of mass, which objects in shape near Earth have lots of mass. So low tide left some boats on land. So think about when you go to the beach, how the water comes up and then it goes back in. Many people speak of weight and mass as if they are the same thing. They are not. Oh, see, I thought they were the same thing. But it is easy to see why people think this. Mass is the amount of matter of stuff something has. Weight measures the gravitational pull of an object's mass. So I learned something new. Weight, what if you were standing on a planet that had more mass than Earth? Would you have the same mass? Would you have the same weight? You would have the same mass because you would be made of the same stuff. You would weigh more because the larger the planet, the larger the gravitational pull. For example, if matter weighs 100 pounds on Earth, the same piece of matter would weigh 236 pounds on Jupiter. So that means, guys, you would weigh more if you go to the moon or outer space. When astronauts go to the moon, their mass doesn't change. However, they weigh much less. Oh, never mind. So if you go to the moon, they weigh much less. Think about when astronauts are on the moon. They can jump extremely high. That is because they don't weigh as much on the moon. The moon's gravity pulls them less. So that's why in space you kind of see them do those little jumps. And on Earth, they don't do that because it's like, because the gravity is pulling us to the center of the Earth. All right, guys. So I want you to answer some questions about what we just read.